This is Matt for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. I'm delighted to be joined by one of the voices of last night's historical fight, Ray Flores. Ray, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it on such short notice. How's things?
Oh, things are great, Matt. I'm still buzzing after last night. What an incredible global event with Tommy Fury edging out Jake Paul. What an event. What an atmosphere. And what a fight, most importantly.
Yeah, and for an 8-round fight to have the likes of Mike Tyson, Cristiano Ronaldo, Devin Haney, Tyson Fury was there, Logan Paul, I believe Kevin Hart was there. This was a star-studded event. But before we talk about the fight, what was it like being in, obviously, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? I've been there before, but just give your perspective on how this sort of trip has been for you.
It was unbelievable the way that the Saudis treated us. They welcomed us with open arms. They were so inviting. They were so welcoming. Everything was first class. They really are putting an emphasis on making sure that they do. They want to put on global events, but also they want to make us feel at home. And I did the entire time. I'm leaving later tonight. And I got to tell you, I enjoyed every moment. Not only that, but they welcomed us into their culture and they made us feel so relaxed and did everything that we needed in order to make sure that we felt like we were at home. And that certainly happened over the course of fight week.
Yeah, I was in Saudi Arabia for Usyk Joshua too, and I have to say the people there, the culture, they were very welcoming, and it did feel very sort of relaxed and welcoming. So I'll agree with you on that.
Well, I certainly had a blast, and I hope to come back real soon and hope this is the first of many trips out here to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
100%. Right, let's get on to the fight. It was a grudge match that was built for 2 years, a lot of back and forth on social media. I have to say as well, Tommy's took a lot of abuse for 2 years for allegedly avoiding the fight. And he went in there, he got the job done. What did you make of the fight overall? What was your general consensus of it?
Well, I thought it was an excellent fight. I thought it was one of those fights that was close. Look, for two guys that are at this stages of their careers, I thought it was an excellent fight because I know everyone's thinking, oh my God, you think it was, pound for pound, whatever. I'm like, listen, for these two guys being at 8-0 and 6-0, I thought it was an excellent fight. And how many times you and I go to fight cards all over the world and we see some of the best fights happen in on prelim fights, and this fight, when you think about it, if they didn't have the names of Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, this might be a swing fight. It might be an opening, one of the prelim fights off TV. And many times you get thrilling matchups in those off TV fights. That's why I tell fans, when you buy a ticket to a big prize fight, get there early, because the best fight of the night you might miss if you get there late. These two guys have built their personalities up in such a way that they put an 8-round fight in the main event of a global pay-per-view here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So with that being said, I did think it was an excellent fight for where they are in their careers. I thought that they both answered a couple of questions, and I said this on the broadcast alongside my partners, Showtime Sean Porter and Coach Larry Wade. I think that Jake Paul proved that he can hang with the boxer of his caliber. He's not just going to get steamrolled. And on the opposite side, for Tommy Fury, people are wondering, will Tommy Fury be able to rise to the occasion? He's always been in the shadows of Tyson and always been known as Tyson Fury's little brother. And, is it just the name that he's got this platform? No, he proved that, guess what? I am a main eventer. And it's just crazy to think he's only 23 years of age. He just had the birth of his daughter, Bambi. He told us in the fighter meetings, he literally left camp to go there, to be there, with his partner, Molly May, for the birth of his daughter, Bambi, then went right back into camp, really couldn't even spend time with his newborn daughter. And he's 23 years of age. The Fury family name has a lot of pressure. The fact that he's a new father and that he's 23 years of age and he comes out and defeats Jake Paul, handing him the first loss of his career. I mean, talk about a night for Tommy Fury.
It looks like we're going to be heading towards a rematch. Jake Paul has said, yeah, let's run it back. Do you think the outcome could be different? I think if Tommy comes into this now, he will maybe come into this rematch with pressure off a little bit, because he knows that was really him. Jake Paul went in there, and I think for him, I don't want to say it's not as bad because it will be for him. He personally will feel it. But in terms of Tommy is being built, because he is technically, he was the professional boxer. He comes from the fighting family. But he's now got that sort of chip off his shoulder now because he's been there, done it, he's got the victory. Do you think he would perform better in a rematch, Tommy? How would you see it go again? Or would it be close? What do you think?
I think both guys will perform better. Now, what does that do to the result? I don't know, because I think that Tommy, I watched the fight again today, and Tommy utilized his jab brilliantly. I mean, he had Jake Paul at the end of his jab all night long and was setting up good right hands. For Jake, he's never been in this position before. We really, Jake Paul, when it comes to dealing with adversity, is an unknown quantity. So what adjustments is he going to make? He mentioned, and I'm not even saying that, and listen, Tommy Fury won the fight clearly, but in my opinion, Jake Paul did look smaller physically compared to what I've seen in the past. Typically, he's bigger, he's more shredded, and I know he kind of attributed the fact that he might have been sick once or twice. So will Jake come in a little bit bigger physically? Because listen, Tommy Fury is a specimen. He is an absolute monster. I mean, my goodness, his back is just massive. I mean, the guy has biceps that are the size of my head. I mean, it's just remarkable. I think Jake gets bigger physically. I think Jake works on a couple of things, but also I think that Tommy, to your point, Matt, I think he comes out a bit more aggressive. He realizes, look, I can walk this guy down. I think Tommy Fury fought a smart, calculated, tactical fight that benefited him and got him the victory. Do I think that he tries to take it to Jake Paul a bit more in the second fight? Yes. How will Jake handle being walked down by Tommy Fury? Can Jake Paul make that adjustments? What adjustments will Jake Paul make? Listen, Jake Paul has a lot of money, and he's going to spend a ton of dough on his next training camp. Now, the question for me, when is the second fight going to happen? When's the rematch going to happen? Will it be 4 months? Will it be 6 months? Will it be a year? Because if it happens about 10, 11 months, almost close to a year, that's a lot of time for someone to develop and grow and really blossom on their skills. Or are they like, within 6 months, let's run it back? At that point, how much more can you grow as a prize fighter? I think the time is very much a factor as to how the second fight unfolds.
I think one of the big things for me is what will be interesting. Once the rematch is done, both of them will be at a crossroads with what do we do? Because they both want to be quote unquote professional fighters. But for Tommy Fury, especially in Britain, you normally go down the road of getting an English title, a British title, European world title. If he has them aspirations, Jake Paul's often talked, no matter how out there it might be, about fighting a Canelo one day. But for him to do that, they know they are going to have to maybe fight professionals for a lot less money and build the way up where they will have the option of jumping in the influencer scene, fighting the likes of a KSI, a Salt Pap, and all these other big names who are on that side of the fence. So do you think they will go down the traditional route of professional boxing, or will it be a case of money talks and they jump over to that influencer side?
So I think it just all depends on what the result of the second fight is going to be. Tommy Fury told us, he goes, once I beat Jake Paul, I want to focus in on growing as a professional. I want to get back to learning the old school way. And he mentioned the fact I'm 23 years of age. I want to work my way up. He told us, my goal is to become a world champion. And how do you do that? You have to have those levels and really raise your game gradually, because you can't necessarily take a big leap up, even though he has this massive star power, especially after this win over Jake Paul. If Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury, then we get a third fight, and that'll probably encapsulate them over the next 18 months. If Jake Paul loses to Tommy Fury, I can see him fighting the likes of the KSI and more the influencers. If Tommy Fury defeats Jake Paul, then I think he goes, I think Tommy Fury gets main event status, and I think guys that are at his level, like let's say he goes after a European championship, I think now typically those fights are like, the opening TV fight on a UK card, or when there be a variety of different networks. I think now Tommy Fury commands main event status because people are so drawn to him for a variety of different reasons. Not only his skill set, but listen, people kind of look at in this fight, what we learned is that Jake Paul is a better boxer than what people think. But also, people are saying about Tommy Fury, oh, he's just a pure boxer, he's just a pure boxer, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, he grew up boxing his entire life. But also, people fail to realize Tommy Fury was on Love Island. The guy was a reality TV star too. He kind of has that social media kind of attention, and people love him, and they have this fascination with him. So Tommy Fury, based on that, is, I think, more popular than what people give him credit for. He's not just a boxer. He's not an influencer, but he is a TV star because people loved watching him on Love Island. So I think Tommy Fury gets main event status if he beats Jake Paul against guys that are fighting for European titles. And guess what? For all those guys that are in the UK that are in his weight class, you're going to be making a lot more money to fight Tommy Fury for a European title. You're probably going to make 8 or 9 times what you would because you're fighting Tommy Fury. So here's the deal. Based on the result of the next fight, I think everyone was saying, oh, it's the Jake Paul sweepstakes. It's the Jake Paul sweepstakes. Yeah, it still is. But guess what? Tommy Fury has entered the building officially. It's now the Tommy Fury sweepstakes, as to now he has become a cash cow in boxing.
I think that's a very accurate take on that, especially if he comes back and fights in the UK. Tommy will be a huge purse for any opposition fighter. Moving away from this fight, I want to touch on this other fight. I think we got a bit of good news in the professional ranks recently. I know this was a professional fight, but I mean, there's no doubt about this one in terms of a big fight. Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. Let's just touch on this. I've been waiting for this fight to be announced for a long time. This for me is huge. How excited are you that we've got 2 networks who are normally at loggerheads, never seem to work together, but both fighters want it. They've put their minds together, and we now have this great fight. How excited are you for this fight? And that fight week's going to be insane.
Matt, I'm jumping out of my skin. It was, I was out here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia all week. And when I saw the fight was announced, I'm like, oh my gosh, April 22nd in Las Vegas. Let's go. I know both guys well. I've seen Gervonta Davis, grow over the course of his career. And man, he's really hitting his stride. He's in the prime of his career. If Ryan Garcia finds a way to defeat Gervonta Davis, he becomes this generation's Oscar De La Hoya. Can you imagine the kind of star power that Ryan Garcia would generate and command if he defeats Gervonta Davis? If Gervonta Davis beats Ryan Garcia, you thought he was popular before. Listen, in not this last fight, but the fight previously when he fought Rolando Rolly Romero, Madonna, of all people, came to Barclays Center to watch him fight. This guy draws celebrities to come watch him fight anybody because they love how exciting he is. He is going to be even that much more of a mainstream star. Put it this way, man, the who's who in the world of entertainment and music and sports will all be in Las Vegas April 22nd. If they're not playing or performing in a big event, they will be at whatever arena the fight is going to be at. Las Vegas is going to be absolutely, there's a term you guys use, and I said this to a friend of mine in the UK. Las Vegas is going to be absolutely mental during that fight week.
Yeah, it will be absolutely mental. Well, look, I appreciate you jumping on and giving us your opinion on the fight last night. And obviously, this is going to be a huge fight coming up. If you're going to be there in Vegas, I'll see you there. I know I'm definitely going to that fight. So we'll catch up there on maybe at the MGM or something. So look, Ray, I appreciate you giving Boxing Social some of your time. And we'll catch up again soon.
Thanks so much, Matt. Always have time for Boxing Social. Have a great one, my friend. I'll see you in Las Vegas in a couple of months.
Appreciate it, Ray. Thank you.
Later.